have the excellence in customer service stream, which is, it's kind of a combination of things, but it really is about working in, supervising and managing customer-driven organizations. And so it's a lot about the new customer. So when you look at it, it really has in it components of marketing, advertising, public relations, and service. Right? And you know, there is a new customer, and I think many of us are starting to be very aware of it, and the new customer is actually perceives themselves as being on the customer service team. Right? And you're very aware of it. Anybody who's had the opportunity to fly WestJet knows that on WestJet you're a guest. They don't want passengers because they just pass through. They want guests who enjoy their hospitality and return to enjoy their hospitality over and over again. And so they've taken a new attitude, a new approach. We now know that we have customers who are the most knowledgeable customers we've ever had. They research. Right? We have the most demanding customer we've ever had with the highest expectations that customers have ever had. They actually expect, and we talk a lot about the 6P formula for excellence in customer service, and they're very interesting words, and I think you'd look forward to talking about them. The words are this: positive, right? Personalized. Isn't that interesting? Right? We now live in a world where indeed people expect very personalized service. Right? They expect professionalism. Right? So they expect people to provide a high degree of professional service. They expect proactive service. Right? They expect you to be on top of what's going on in the world. What are the trends? What are the demands? What are the changes? They expect proactive service. They expect, and this is an interesting one, productive service. We've never had a more impatient customer than, am I correct? They just are really, they expect results very, very quickly. So they expect us to be productive, and they expect us to be progressive. In other words, we're supposed to be ahead of the game in customer service, not on catch-up. Right? So it really is a good look at that 6P formula with that whole sort of umbrella of service, which includes marketing, public relations, advertising, and service. It may include sales, because there will be people who will be interested in a sales angle, and so sometimes we add that to the marketing angle to be the umbrella for all of those. Right? But we have a changing customer. And I think a big part of this customer service, excellence in customer service, is having a look at the changing customer. Right? And the changing customer means that we have to change customer service. And I'll just run by a quick little example for you. We're doing a project right now with some airports across Canada because they're very interested suddenly in customer service. Because indeed, if people are going to spend time in an airport, we not only want them to spend time there, we'd like them to spend money while they're there. Right? Because airports have become hubs of service, and it isn't just about catching your flight anymore. However, we know, and we're going to talk about this in the Excellence in Customer Service, that the first 8 words, the first message that you receive, the first 8 seconds, right, and the first 8 people that you meet in any situation actually form your impression of that service industry. Okay? So picture yourself in an airport as a little example. People walk in, they're very happy, they're pulling their little suitcase, and they're smiling because they're going somewhere. Okay? And then they come in and they look up at the big monitor. Right? And those monitors give us our first impression. Right? And they're very, very important in terms of how we perceive that airport. So if your flight's on time, you get a very good impression because it says Air Canada Flight 72, Victoria to Calgary, on time, and it's got a lovely green strip through it. We love green. We're very fond of green. It's important to know in customer service what people are fond of. Right? However, when your flight is late, it says Air Canada Flight 86, Victoria to Edmonton, delay/retard. 2 very negative words. One in French, one in English. And there's a red stripe through it. customers are not fond of red. Right? As a matter of fact, it's commonly known as the bullfight color. Right? And so when we see the red, and we have great video, well, can't show you because of FOIP, but we have people who walk in and they're very happy and they look up at the monitor and they see the red line and they go, and they're looking around for service. Right? They want excellence in service. Because if they walk up to an agent, and they will, and they'll say, what do you mean my flight's delayed? Right? The weather's perfect out there. Can't you guys ever get a flight out of here on time? The first 8 words that that person says determines how they perceive the service in that whole industry that day. And did you know that the first 8 words that we often say in customer service are laden with negative terms? I'm sorry. Your flight's delayed because there's a mechanical problem. So my impression of customer service is that it's sorry, right? I'm delayed and there's a problem. Right? How do you think I respond to that? Well, it's really hard to be positive, personalized, and professional, and proactive, and productive, and progressive when you're defending yourself. So we need to change, and that's what this excellence in customer service is about. It isn't about them and us anymore. It's about us working together. And so WestJet has us on a project to change those monitors. And Halifax, bless their hearts, they went first. They agreed to pilot it because the airport with the most delays in Canada is Halifax. And the manager said, you know, when it comes to customer service, we need to do something differently because we have a lot of angry customers in our airport. And so he agreed to change the monitors. The monitors in Halifax now say, WestJet Flight 86, Halifax to Toronto, new departure time, 2:30 p.m.
Oh, that's clever.
Clever. That's what excellence in customer service is about. It's about being clever about customers, being clever about clients, looking at the new customer, the new client, and developing a new kind of service that matches the expectations, the demands, the changes, the needs. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Right? Using the 6P formula. So I think you'll find it quite interesting. Right? Quite interesting in that it talks about not just ordinary, and so often people think, and we talked about it, so often people think, oh, this is about retail. Okay? Well, yes, retail's included in that because, of course, the retail industry has had to change their customer service too. But this is about customers, this is about clients, and this is about where we all spend a lot of time. And the joy of this course is that we've all been on the other side. Right? We've all been customers. And it's very interesting because we often know what we like. We know what we don't like, and sometimes we give our customers what we don't like. And so it's changing our thinking around that. And there's lots of really good information and some really good research that's been done lately. And we're starting to really rethink the field of customer service. Hence, we use the word excellence in customer service because nobody wants average or good. So that's what that one's about. Does that bring up any questions or any thoughts, comments? And thank you, Teresa, for the clever. I do think that it's about being clever. It's about being intuitive about customers. Okay? It's about creativity we talked about yesterday. Questions? Does it sound interesting?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
I was just wondering, so if you have a limited background in sales or working in
You'll be
retail-
just fine.
Okay.
Because really, excellence in customer service is about customer behavior and our behavior with customers. So if you really, it's got a lot of organizational behavior in it. And if you've got limited background in sales or service, that won't matter. In fact, that may sometimes be an advantage. Because, you know, people who've been working in the service industry for years have some habits. Right? One of the habits we're going to ask people to break is the may I help you habit. Because today, when a customer walks in and somebody says, may I help you? We say, well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
And isn't that what we pay you to do? Well, I was hoping so, that's why I came in here. And so we have to break some of those old habits. So sometimes I say to people, it may actually be easier if we haven't had some of the conditioning. That is a good question. Yes, go ahead.
If we're all interested in one stream, everybody in here, in one particular stream, is there enough room for everybody to take one stream?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that. It's never happened, has it?
It's never happened.
Just curious.
That's why we're asking for your first choice and your second choice. Yeah. Because there is some caps in some courses.
Yeah. Although, based on previous cohorts, I don't think I'd worry about it
We've
because
never
I think
had
most people
something
tend to
too
get,
top-heavy. Things have
Spreads out.
usually been.
yeah, it spreads out pretty good. Yeah. Any other questions?
Actually,
Yes,
you
go ahead,
mentioned-
Trina.
You mentioned, of course, that this covers so much more than just retail. Like, what other career applications?
Oh, any of the marketing careers, and there's lots of marketing, and including looking at social marketing, which we're going to look at in another way. Certainly the advertising, okay? Certainly the communications field, because it really is about that too, isn't it? So we find that actually people are pleasantly surprised anywhere where you would have a client, right? And so some people, and you know, it's very, I find this fascinating, anywhere where indeed you have to interact positively with the client in order to influence that client to indeed take advantage of the business opportunities that you're offering. So real estate, you know, anything around that. So if you think marketing, advertising, communications, public relations, you've probably got the...
I was just going to say, like, even with respect to an office type setting, people that work in human resources.
Oh, absolutely. Human resources or any kind of work where, it's a very interesting term that we use, where you're frontline with customers, okay, where you interact with customers. And I struggle with the word frontline because it's a war term, you know. Do you know what they did to people on the front line during the war? Yeah, they shot them, okay, dragged them back, threw them in a hole and sent up relief staff, which we sometimes use too. So we try to get people thinking about customer interaction versus that kind of war mentality. That was the them and us mentality. And it's really quite over now because customers want to engage in your business, which is an interesting term. Anything else?
Thanks, Mike.
Oh, thank you.